Assalamualaikum, good morning, and welcome to the forum PdPR How We Pulled Ourselves Through. I am Aina Khalisa from SK Pilin, alongside with Nur Khairul Koyim from SK Pulau Besar, will be your moderators for today. So, Koyim, who do we have with us today?
Okay, Aina, today we are so lucky. We have three amazing panels. The first one is Mr. Sean from SK Undang Rembau. Thank you for coming, sir. Next, we have Madam Shamala from SJKT Ladang Perhentian Tinggi. And we have Mr. Chat Chin Soon from SJKC Yohua. How are you guys today? That's great.
Welcome to our forum. Koyim, do you remember how many episodes of PdPR we had?
Well, Aina, if I'm not mistaken, we already had two last year, and we recently just passed one early this year, and soon we will have another phase coming next month.
Yes, another round of PdPR
Yes.
after Idul Fitri for 10 days, right? Okay. For those who are unfamiliar with the term PdPR, it means home-based teaching and learning, or it can also be carried out at community centers or any other suitable locations. It can be done either online, offline, or offsite in a structured and planned manner. The COVID-19 pandemic threat has resulted the government to enforce movement control order and the Ministry of Education to shut down schools as the number of infected patients rose.
Yes, correct, Aina. However, during the first round of PDPR, teachers and students were both clueless. We don't know how to carry out this PDPR, right?
We had no idea at all.
So teachers were having problems with getting in touch with the students and finding out ways to teach them. But we are so lucky later on the Ministry of Education released a manual as a guidance not only for teachers but also for the PPD, administrators, JPN and all the school administrators as well as the Education Ministry divisions. It was released 1 or 2 months before the second episode of PDPR.
Yes, in the manual, it explained to us about the alternative methods.
Yes, correct.
To be used during PDPR. Back in our IPG days, we were taught different methods to tackle students in the class.
Yes.
However, during PDPR, all the students were at home, and
And teachers need to be able to adopt and adapt
yes,
to the new
yes,
norm. Yes.
new situation. So, Mr. Shan, can you explain to us the methods that you use during PDPR?
Yes, Aina, thank you.
Mm.
And thank you, Kayam. Well, since the first PDPR was implemented somewhere in March last year, sorry, in June.
June, yeah, it was in
isn't it?
June.
After the first MCO.
Mm.
Okay, MOE has always emphasized that method to be used must take into account the suitability of teachers, students, and also the place. Okay, whether online or offline, teachers' determination to impart knowledge to students is unparalleled. When we talk about online learning, former Education Minister Dr. Maslim Malik has raised questions over the fate of close to 40% of students across the nation who are without electronic devices and internet at home. They share with their parents and siblings. Well, the pandemic now, so schools are shifting classes to online. But it is not easy as it is sound. Right now, however, we need a simpler formula, and I would like to share a few tips to make how teacher can handle this online learning effectively. First of all, we want the teacher to always record their teaching, because there are students that maybe they are unwell, the internet is maybe facing problem and
Not so strong, the connection.
so this type of student they need we need to record the video so that they can view it whenever they are free.
Yes.
Okay, and we encourage the teachers to show their face in the video or the online learning, because we are dealing with the kids. The kids, they are not robots. They got their own feeling. They love the teacher. So when the teacher show his or her face on the video, of
Yes.
course, it will be more effective and interactive.
Yeah, also the pupils can see the teacher's expression. Yeah.
Yes, I know. Well, let me share a few tips about this online teaching, the PdPR. Now, since the first PdPR was implemented last year, June,
Yes.
MOE has always emphasized that the method to be used must take into account of suitability of the kids, teacher, and also where they live.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so whether online or offline, teachers' determination to impart the knowledge to the kid is really unparalleled. Salute to the teachers. Now, when we talk about online learning, recently our former education minister, Dr. Mazli Malik, has raised question over the fate of close to 40% of students across the nation who are without electronic devices and internet at home. They share with their parents and also siblings. Well, during this pandemic, schools are shifting classes to online. It sounds easy, but it is not actually. When we think about the effectiveness of what the student will get. Okay, so right now, let me share a few ideas and tips.
Please
Okay,
do, sir.
thank you. Now, when the teacher do the teaching online, we want them to record it. Don't stream online, sorry, don't stream live every time.
Why is that?
Okay, because there are students where they, as I told you just now, a few of them they are sharing with their parents and siblings, so they
Okay.
don't have time to watch the
Mm.
video. So if the teacher can record the video, they can watch it whenever they are free. So we encourage the teachers to record their teaching. And please show your face because we are dealing with the kids. We are not dealing with the robots, the kids with a feeling, and they will be very happy and like you're smiling just now, right? So they will feel like, wow, my teacher is there, and they will try to watch the video. When they watch the video, make sure it is not longer than 20 minutes. There is a study says that the student only can concentrate up to 20 minutes
Yes.
when they watch a video.
Their attention span, right?
Yes, to avoid that, let's make sure the video is short, simple, and accurate.
Straight to the point.
Okay, straight to the point. Thank you. And the teachers, please, when we want to show the slide, before we present the slide, we need to check out the font size, the ratio, and also the color and temple design because we will design it in our laptop or on a big screen. But when the student they watch it in a small screen on the end phone. So we need to emphasize the font size, the colors, the template design, and also the screen ratios. Double check before you present it. Okay, and make sure whatever links that you give, whatever resources that you share with the kid, make sure it is linkable and can be achieved by the kid. And of course, the video that you are creating, the material that you are going to produce, it should be doable by the kid.
That's true.
Yeah. If it is too difficult, of course they will turn off their mind. They won't, right? So we need to make sure it is doable by the kid. The level of the language that you want to use, the level of the ideas that you want to expose there, and so on. So make sure there are open resource to whatever new items that you expose on the video. So don't forget to attach the link. And also, we want them to do the caption. If can, we want the subtitle on the screen there. So easy for them if they don't understand what you say, at least they can read. So it is better you put the subtitle there. And teachers, we need to make sure that each time when you present your video, when you teach online, make sure the student take part. So how we are going to make sure that they are watching your video?
Yes.
Okay. So you can use like Google Sheet or there is a Viapedia, and also there are many tools that we can see the student whether they are online or not. So once a while you post a question there. So I'll ask them to write it. Okay. as in our 21st century learning, we use so many tools like let them use the traffic light, what they have in the class. Let them show like they okay with your lesson or like this to show that they
They
understand
don't
or
understand.
not. Finally, it's about the attendance.
Mhm.
We hope that all the students will take part. We hope that all the students will watch your video to make sure they watch, to make sure they learn what you expose there on the video there. So we need to take their attendance. To take this attendance, okay, there are some tools that we can apply. We can use it. Okay, we can use even the Google Sheet. Next is, I think it is very important. We need to take your attendance, the students' attendance. So, the auto checking measure attendance
Mhm.
tools like Google Sheet, QR code. Even we can display the QR code, ask them to scan, and they can edit from there their attendance. It is very important to make sure that they are with you on that lesson. That's all. Thank you.
And just now you mentioned a lot about online methods. What about offline methods? Can you share with us on online offline methods?
Yes, I know. Thank you. Okay, as what we did before, even before this PdPR implemented during the first MCO in March last year, we prepared the materials. We produced the materials and we put modules and everything. We put in the postcard. We
Yes.
asked the parents to come and take.
Mhm.
And there are a few schools in our district. They post the material to the students' house.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so when we apply this offline method, make sure the work that you want to give to the student it is task-based learning, project-based learning, and also mixed mode. And if can let them refer to their textbook
Mhm.
to answer this question hard. And teachers, we need to make sure that the instructions are simple, clear, and easy to understand. As I said just now, doable by the kids.
All right, thank you, Mr. Shan. It was a wonderful sharing. So, Mr. Chow, I know that you're a tech-savvy teacher, and I guess you are very familiar with all the online tools that is in the market. All right. So, do you mind sharing with us the tools that you used and how? Some of the teachers are clueless. Uh, yeah, I do. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chow.
Thanks, Koyim and Aina. A good day to all of you. Well, be honest, I'm actually not that expert at ICT, but as you all know, due to this pandemic of COVID-19, which is an extraordinary situation of total lockdown, by hook or by crook, I have to upgrade myself at my digital skills. Frankly, to say, to conduct class online and online teaching and learning was not an easy task. I needed a certain degree of technological proficiency. Therefore, switching from physical classroom to virtual classroom, I use Zoom video conferencing apps. I chosen it for certain reasons. Firstly, of course, it is easy to operate and user friendly. Zoom is definitely an ideal platform even for the most non-tech savvy users. Secondly, it made me easy to share my learning materials during video conferencing. At the same time, I could see all my students at one time on the screen. Furthermore, the most important part was I use it for free. Next, Zoom is fully compatible to Google Calendar, which it helped me to keep on track of my next lessons. After all, Zoom is a very easy to use. Besides, like everyone of us here, we do our home-based teaching and learning is always fun and interactive. Okay, for that, I use various technologies and audio visual aids. I use PowerPoint presentation tools to deliver the content of my lessons. Meanwhile, I also pre-recorded some videos of my lessons and uploaded onto my YouTube channels for on offline purposes. By doing so, my students could review the videos wherever they are, whenever they like. Other than that, WhatsApp and Telegram groups were created to send assignments, notifications, reminders, as well as discussions. Sometimes I also explore and apply some interesting online educational tools like Quizy, Google Form, Kahoot, interactive live worksheets, Padlet, and the last but not least, the very familiar Google Classroom, which is a tool under the Lima Digital Educational Learning Initiative Malaysia.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chia. Now, I wonder, were there any technical issues that you face? And if you do you mind sharing with us how you overcome such issues?
Of course, Kaim, the online teaching and learning has many challenges. The major one was adapt myself to the unfamiliar technology. At the earlier stage, I was not very comfortable handling all the new apps as the NetGen. Okay, for that, we teachers, myself and my colleagues, we created PLC sessions to share, to teach each other on how to handle all the new technology and new applications. Okay, for our online lessons before we exposing ourselves to the students. Okay, gradually I get my confidence in using and handling a very smooth online class. The second issue was the internet connectivity problem. As you all know, technical issues are bound to happen in an online only environment.
Yeah.
I still remember that one of my online classes, my computer suddenly shut down, and I needed to restart it immediately. Okay, for that I have to keep, keep on touch with my students. What I do, I just WhatsApp to remind my students that I'm still online. The only thing, what was happening to my computer. Okay, and then perhaps the pre-recording lessons is a useful one for these issues. Okay. Next challenge was the gadget shortage. Generally, not every students of mine they have their personal gadgets. Okay, many of them they are supposed to share their gadget with their parents and the siblings. Okay, to have the to stay on track. Okay, so therefore timetable should be planned wisely. Then I've discussed in my GPKs to make the timetables for not clashing with other lessons. Okay, so for me, there's no strict time frames are defined for having the assignment done. So again, here a pre-recorded lesson is a must to make sure that students teachers interaction is still ongoing.
Thank you, Mr. Chia. Such a wonderful sharing. Koyim, although Mr. Chia faced so many obstacles during PDPR, but he didn't give up. He find ways. He finds solutions on how to keep track with his students. Just now, Mr. Chia mentioned something about student and teacher interaction, right? As we all know, student and teacher interaction is an important aspect in teaching and learning session. How effective was PDPR in encouraging students' interaction? Can Madam Shamalas shed us some light on that?
Thank you, Aina and Koim. Actually, effectiveness of students' interaction during online classes were assessed to their ability to think critically and participate actively during the online discussion. Their performance during the online classes were evaluated based on formative assessments and later on recorded as their PVD results. As we all know, during our conventional method, we tend to use more classroom activities that encourage our students to move around.
Yes.
So they were able to enjoy the lessons more. It's fun, with the language arts was there and
They were
everything, right?
active then.
Yes, very active. But during PDPR, they were like constricted
Yes.
to Google Meet and everything.
Mhm.
They can't move much,
Mhm.
seated, right? But still, like Mr. Shan and Mr. Chag has said, they have proved that during PDPR, blended learning and differentiated learning method and also 21st century has been applied. That has proven my point that effective interactive interaction was obvious during PDPR. But the only problem was that teachers could not attain 100% attendance from the students during online classes. So various methods were used for PDPR. The main reason is a lack of knowledge in ICT tools and also no internet facilities. So in a way, like Mr. Shan has said, using the usage of WhatsApp and Telegram, right? So we can actually do video calls, conference calls during WhatsApp, and then still use the 21st century learning methods. Show the traffic light and then mini whiteboard and thumbs up.
thumbs
Yes.
down.
So like for me, I personally use the true and false cards also. So they don't have to talk much. That red the color is false, the green one is for
I
true. So like
see.
during the conference calls, they can just show. So there is different digital learnings, right? Differentiated learning,
And you
right?
got feedback straight
Yes,
away.
get the
Yes.
instant feedback from them. So, but main thing I feel this is not only the lack of internet facility. Another thing is students' discipline. So they tend not to come online. Even though they are able to come, they tend not to come online because they feel prefer using the data lack of internet facilities. So that's the main problem that was very obvious during PDPR. I could not access that. Their effort, discipline was very lack of discipline was very obvious.
Are there any positive interactions during synchronous learning?
Yes, there are synchronous learning methods such as video conferencing, live chatting, and live stream classes via Google Meet and Zoom actually encourages interaction between the teacher, students, and also among their peers. Teachers were able to cultivate active discussion and get immediate feedback in synchronous learning. For an example, video conferencing makes it possible to ask questions and receive answers during the lesson just like the usual face-to-face classroom session. The interaction between the students and the teacher during the video conferencing enables formative assessment to take place too. Like I said earlier, right? Showing the traffic light,
Yes.
thumbs up, thumbs down. So all this is like getting instant feedback.
How about asynchronous learning? Were students able to interact with the teacher and peers during this method?
Well, in asynchronous learning, students were able to interact through social media and emails. Like just now I said at WhatsApp and Telegram, right? So Mr. Shan was also told about attendance, taking attendance. In Telegram, you can do polls to collect attendance too. Social media such as WhatsApp and Telegram Messenger and Hangouts played a major role as mode of communication between the teachers and students during PDPR lesson. Students were also able to access, collaborate, and reflect their assignments or project work via Google Classroom and Google Groups. Teachers usually assign most of their worksheets and everything in Google Classroom.
Yes.
As teachers, we have learned many instructional strategies that fit the needs of the students' abilities and tap into their passion. Personalized learning during PDPR focus mainly on project-based learning and blended learning. Students post their questions, resources, and their project to guide productive discussion in Google Sites, Blogger, and Google Groups. Meanwhile, for blended classroom, teachers also use Google Docs to guide their students since table with hyperlinks can be included to encourage students to share their views and perspectives on the topic posted. Teachers were also able to do flipped classroom via Google Forms since they were able to combine video and questions at the same time for students' homework. In order to make the students' life easier, Google Docs and Google Forms can be accessed by them via Google Classroom and social media. And now for the almost like KPM has introduced the DDEC TV also, right? And then Academy YouTubers introduced teachers to a lot of trainings to encourage them to post YouTube videos
Videos.
online. So most of the teachers were able to download other teachers' teaching materials and aid and share it with our students. To sum up, all these facts are evident enough to show that students' interaction were possible during PDPR.
That's good to hear, Madam Shamala. All in all, I think it is not wrong to say that PDPR has made us teachers to be more creative and innovative in teaching our students. Educationist and former NUTP Secretary General Dato N. Siva Subramaniam once said, teaching is a critical profession and teachers must keep up with the times in by adapting to online teaching, whether we like it or not. Nothing is perfect, and we face difficulties and obstacles during PDPR, but we didn't give up and let that be an excuse to us.
Yes, that's true, Aina. I believe that all teachers did their very best to ensure all the students are involved in PDPR. Those who couldn't attend online classes were given recorded videos to watch and worksheets to answer. I believe some teachers produced their own modules, in
Yes.
fact. So WhatsApp and Telegram groups were utilized to break boundaries, to create more better communication between teachers, students, and also their parents. Wow, I now look at the time. So on behalf of the organizers, I would like to thank all our panels today. It has been a very fruitful sharing and we hope to have you guys in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.